We are recording.
Okay, hello everyone. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Jess. Erica and I have the same coach, so we met through her, and I think this is going to be more of like an untraditional type. What is coaching? Kind of more how I've transformed through my coaching journey and everything like that. And I don't have a PowerPoint or anything fancy like that. That's just not how I roll. And being in grad school full time and working full time, I was like, I'm just going to actually pour my energy into speaking to everyone and not worrying about putting together something that I'm just going to be a perfectionist about. So, um, growing up, I was a gymnast for 14 years. Oh my goodness, it's hard to believe it was that long. So, I always was a part of a team, even though gymnastics is more of an individual sport. That's what I grew up doing. I always had a coach telling me, okay, this is your workout for the day. Like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. So when that was all over and I graduated high school and went to college, I was clueless. Like, I had no idea what to do in a real gym. I would walk in and I'm just like, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what I'm doing. I would look up like random Pinterest workouts, or I would just be like, oh, okay, that person's doing that machine. Okay, I think I can do that one. And that doesn't look too hard. And then go try and run on the treadmill, but I am not a runner. Then I'd be like, okay, let's go to the elliptical. We'll like try that out for a little bit. It was a hot mess pretty much. And I would measure the effectiveness of my workout based on how much I sweat. And for someone who is a natural sweater, we'll say, that's not a very good measure of it because I would not be doing much and I'd be sweating. So, and then I still distinctly remember it was in the summer, I think going into college. And so I was still very new to going to the gym. I drove like 10 minutes to the local Planet Fitness near me and I go to the gym, I go to the back, I'm like, okay, I'll start with like a couple ab exercises and then I'll go from there. I looked and I was like, I don't want to be here right now. And so I got up and left. I was there for maybe 5 minutes, but that's where like my fitness journey started because I was clueless. I had no idea what I was doing. And so I kind of gave up trying to go to the gym. And then my coach Liv had reached out to me right before I was graduating college, and it was perfect. She was telling me I could work out at home. I would have a whole community with me, and that's what I was craving. I was, like I said, about to graduate, but I was moving back in with my parents, but not in my hometown. So I moved from New York down to North Carolina and I transferred colleges. And so, like, moving back home with my parents, I didn't know anyone but my parents and some of my family members. So, like, moving back home wasn't actually home. And that was kind of scary because I didn't know what was going to happen and what the future was going to bring. And I felt alone because you see everyone else on social media kind of just having it all together. They're graduating college, they still have all of their friends, they're going into their jobs, and it seems like a seamless transition. Everyone has it all figured out. That was not me. I was very scared. And so as soon as she said, you'll be plugged in to like a community of people, I was sold. Like, a lot of people don't sign up with these programs right away, but I was that few that do because I was like, she is speaking to me. And I know if me and Liv get along well and we're kind of vibing, then I'm going to feel the same way with the rest of the people who are in the community. Um, I then kind of dropped off a little bit and was kind of, I didn't want to lean into the group. I figured, I was like, okay, I can figure it out myself and then I'll kind of hop in and do everything. But so I'd like do things here and there, not really any consistent. It would just be whatever. And then I started talking to my coach and I was like, okay, maybe I kind of want to do this coaching thing, because she'd asked me before and I was like, no, it's like, no, I don't want to. And then she brought up even just signing up as a coach to get the discounts. And I was like, that sounds really good. But I was like, I don't have $15 to spend to get a discount every month. I was like, I genuinely, because when I first signed up, I asked her if there was a payment plan, because as I was about to graduate, I didn't have a job. And I was like, I don't know if I can pay for this. But I got it all together and I was like, okay, we'll do it. And I signed up as a coach and I was like, you know what? Let's go. Like, you see all of these people having huge success and they're able to pay all these bills off, whatever. Insert Team Beachbody income disclaimer here. But I didn't see that, because even though the actual tasks of like coaching aren't hard things, what I learned was it is very, very hard to be vulnerable. I didn't want to let everyone in on what I was going through. When I first decided that I was going to actually be a coach, I was like, okay, I'm going to make a second Instagram, because I didn't want everyone else to see what I was doing. And I was trying to hide from that for so, so long. But here I was also wanting to make a little bit more money, because student loans are no fun. The school that I went to before I transferred and ended up graduating from in North Carolina, I went to a private school before that. And as much as I want to say that I don't regret going there, part of me does, because I didn't end up even getting my diploma from there. And I spent a crap ton of money to go there and live on campus when I could have lived at home, because it was like 30 minutes away from my parents' house. But my dad, love him so, so much. But when I wanted to go there, he saw me and he was like, he saw how excited I was, but he was like, we'll figure it out. Like, we'll figure out the finances. Yes, we can go there. Like, you can go there. It's fine. Well, turns out figuring it out means that I'm going to end up paying all my student loans. It's fine. I'm an adult, whatever. But in the world of psychology, you don't make a lot of money, especially unless you have a master's or a doctorate. You do not make a lot of money. And that is just something that I was taught and that was ingrained in me, and something I was just going to have to deal with. I just had to accept the fact that I was going to be paying my student loans until God knows when. It was just something that I was always going to have to deal with. But I wanted to do something to change that, because I wanted to actually enjoy my life and not have the burden of student loans over my head. So going back to what I was saying earlier, even though the tasks of coaching isn't hard, I found it very hard to get vulnerable with myself and with what I was dealing with. And I kind of put up this facade and was like, yeah, everything's great. Life is great. I'm doing all these great things. Like, look at me. Like, I have this awesome job, but I'm living at home to save money, which I don't care about. Like, it's okay. And kind of just putting on a happy face. But that's not relatable. And that wasn't even what I was really feeling. I was kind of just doing it because I was like, nobody wants to hear about my struggles. Like, nobody can relate to what I'm going through. Like, I'm the only one that's going through this, because at that time, this was like 2 years ago, not everyone was getting vulnerable. Like, they weren't expressing what they were going through. And so I think that has been the biggest thing, is learning more about myself, even through personal development, like we talked about recently. Like, I thought I was too good for it. Like, I was like, I don't need that. Like, no, I've got it figured out. Like, everyone else who's doing personal development, like, they really need help. And I'm not that. That's not me. I was like, I'm happy. Like, I've got it figured out. Like, okay, sure, yeah, I have some anxiety. like I have some depression spouts, but like it's fine. It's really fine. And it just clicked one day that I was like, it's okay to not have it all figured out. And there we go. Personal development junkie now. I love it. I think it's incredible. But I think without the world of coaching, I never would have actually like dove into that and started to really look inward at myself. So I think that is like one of the biggest things that coaching has done for me. I have learned an incredible amount about myself that I really don't think I ever would have learned. It's also put me in the presence with incredible people who just like force is like has like negative connotations, but like almost force you to level up and like dream bigger and look to like ways that you didn't look before, like look for solutions that you didn't think about before. And being surrounded by those types of people is why I no, I know that is why I am where I am today, and I was able to make it through living at home with my parents when I wasn't happy and I didn't know anyone. Why I was able to kind of pursue getting my master's in the first place. I remember graduating and just feeling so defeated because the entire time that I was in like my bachelor's program, I was like, "Oh, I'll figure out what I want to do." Like I just need to give it a little bit more time and then I'll figure out where I want to go from there because I knew I had to go somewhere. Like I said, unless you have a bachelor's or unless you have a master's or a doctorate with psychology, there's not many places for you to actually earn money. But allowing myself to join a community where people are constantly growing and challenging themselves and getting themselves out of their comfort zones and making that normal instead of staying in your comfort zone, staying small, really like made me think, shit, like I can do this. Okay, I can do hard things. Like I can do it. And it's been incredible. And I think also, I just think about the person I was several years ago and the types of relationships that I had with my friends. It was based upon gossip, when the next party was, like when the next activity was. But like with this community, it's genuine friendships and like talking about hard things, talking about the things that other people don't want to talk about. And that has been a game changer because for so long, I didn't feel like I fit in with those other groups. And I was kind of just like, unimportant in the group, but surrounding yourself with a community of people who constantly are growing and evolving and changing and trying to like uplift other people really makes you look inward to not only, okay, wait, if they can do it, I can do it too, but also, okay, wait, they have these positive mindsets and it seems like it's working for them. Why don't I do that? Like, why can't I try doing this? Oh, cool. They're doing something that looks really hard. Okay, let me try and do X, Y, or Z that I've been pushing off. And I think it's been incredible. I've learned a lot of my limiting beliefs I've had, and kind of trying to overcome those. And it has been like life changing. I always laugh when I say that something's like a game changer or life changing just because I feel like it has that like stereotyped like cliche around it now, but like genuinely, and as much as I loved the community like when I was a challenger and just not even thinking about coaching, it I feel like it's just increased like my the engagement and everything like that. Like I feel more driven and everything like that to like provide a community for people who are like me, who didn't know where else to go, who didn't know what else to do, who didn't have those other outlets, like I want to say like healthy outlets for relationships, and not just health and wellness either, but like didn't have that community aspect anymore. Like I want to give them that, because that is how I have made it this far. Especially because Brandon and I moved in, because we were long distance. We moved in right before the pandemic, like literally right before everything kind of shut down. And so I have one friend here, literally, from work, but I have been able to kind of like get that social interaction that I've needed through everyone else in this community. And I have met literally all of my best friends through this, which sounds so crazy, because remember when all of our parents told us not to talk to strangers and don't talk to people on the internet? Oops. Well, that's kind of how I met all the most important people in my life. It's just incredible. So I know that's kind of more of like an untraditional what is coaching, but I think that's the most important part. Like, sure, like the accolades and the tasks that we can do and all of that is like important to talk about and important to know. But like Erica has mentioned before, I think a lot of us are people that we want you to give us a checklist. Okay, so I can do all of these things. Okay, I just need to do these things every day. Okay, I can do that. But I think it's really diving deep in yourself and kind of figuring out those limiting beliefs of, oh, okay, I don't want to post that because I don't want to hear what Sally Sue has to say about it. But kind of like diving deeper into that and like, okay, but why did that thought and emotion come up, like around that is so much more important and will lead to such bigger things than just checking a box every single day. So that's kind of my story and how coaching has changed my life. And it's kind of weird to say that. And I definitely, the imposter syndrome is hitting hard with all of this, because I feel as if though I'm not qualified to sit here and tell you about coaching, because I am not some massively successful coach. But I've also learned that doesn't matter. Like, if you only look up to the people who are at the tippy top, you're going to have like an unrealistic perception of what all of this is. And I think it's more important sometimes to think about what it has done for you and like a growth standpoint that's not financial. Like, okay, yeah, trust me, I want all the financial gains because, like I mentioned, student loans. But I think even if that wasn't the case, like even if there was no opportunity for that, you would still find me here and doing this, because I have found something here that I haven't been able to find anywhere else. And that is invaluable. Does anyone have any questions? I see the chat is blowing up. I love y'all. Okay. Yes, Shanice, that was me. I was told, here are all of your workouts. You just check the box saying that you did them. But I had no idea what to do after that. Yes, Pinterest was incredible to find everything. Okay, yeah, so circling back to that, I distinctly remember what my breaking point was. It was the semester before I moved here. I think I actually still have the workout book somewhere here because I found it recently. I spent like $50 on a book, literally just like a spiral bound book that had all of these workouts in it that you could do from home. And I remember being in my apartment, like trying to do the workouts. And I was like, why the hell am I doing this? Like, this is so stupid. Like, and I was just getting so down on myself because I was like, how did I let myself get here? Like, I have a book right in front of me telling me the workouts that I need to do, and I can't even do that. Like, and I would just get down on myself, like, oh, X amount of years ago, I would be working out 3 hours every day. Like, and that was no big deal back then. But here I am, I can't follow a book for 30 minutes. Like, what is that? But it was the community aspect of it that was missing, and having that accountability piece of, and not even like having someone be like, oh no, you have to do this. Like, okay, yeah, we're like, you have to do this today, but just like the accountability to be like, yeah, I didn't do it today, but I'm gonna be there tomorrow. Can you just check in on me? Like, can you make sure that I get this done? And not like, yeah, the accountability part has just been like the biggest thing. Yes, I used to be an athlete. Why I do 2 push-ups. I was talking to Liv about this recently. I was that girl in high school that when we had to do like fitness testing, I don't know if that was a thing everywhere, but where you have like you do push-ups like on a count, and it's like however many like you just keep going until you stop. I was that girl that did more push-ups than all the guys in my gym class because I did push-ups on like, what do you mean? Like, I was like, okay, yeah, like, here we go. And then I graduated and I can't do 10 push-ups. I was like, how did I, and yes, like Erica mentions, it's the self-shame of how did I let myself get here? Like, I used to be able to do this no problem. How did I end up like this? But it was kind of just like that breaking point of having that book. And I was like, I can't even follow a dang book where it's telling me exactly what to do. I just must not be cut out for this. It's fine, like whatever. But having the accountability was exactly what I needed to kind of keep going with everything. Okay, let's see. Yes, I think we're all in a very underpaid community and workforce. Yeah, no one relates to perfection. And I realized I was kind of putting off the Jess that I wanted everyone else to think I was. I would jump on stories and be talking, and I don't think I've ever actually admitted this, but I hated when Brandon would watch my stories because that's not who I was. On my stories, that's not actually who I was. And I kind of had that realization moment, and I'm like, if I don't want him watching my stories, or like I would feel uncomfortable like doing stories in front of him, I'm like, then that's not really me. Like, that's not who I am, and I'm kind of portraying someone different to the world. And I was like, and no one's gonna relate to that. Like, everyone, I feel like you could feel the fakeness like coming off of me, or like wanting to be perfect. And it like has been so incredible. Okay, so what was the difference you noticed when you started to show up as you instead of who you thought you should be? I There was no pressure anymore. Like, I didn't feel like I had to keep showing up as someone who, oh, all these crappy things happen to my in my day today, but it's okay. Like, it's really okay, like because of X, Y, and Z. But now I can be like, no, yeah, that happened. It sucked, but it is okay because I've learned through trial and error, and I've learned through these personal development tactics that it really is okay. Like, everything isn't just going to crumble, even though before I would say it was okay, but secretly on the inside, I'd be like, like my wheels would be turning because I was so frustrated with everything. Um, yes, I finally found my tribe that it doesn't matter who I am because they accept me for who I am. And I think that has also been the biggest thing because my entire life, I never felt like I fit in anywhere, and everyone was just like pretending to be my friend. But here it's like, because we have that like real, raw, honest, vulnerable connection, I don't feel like that anymore. Like, it's not just like an on the surface level friendship. And it was crazy to think, like, okay, out of all of these people on the call right now, I've literally only ever met Erica in person once after we had already been friends for a while. And it's just like, even though I've never met the majority of the people here, I feel like we have such a bigger connection than I had with other people who I'd been friends with for so much longer. Um, yeah. Does anyone have any questions about anything? I know I said that, but then I went into the chat and got distracted.
I don't have a question, Jess, but I just want to say thank you for sharing your story. One, it's not easy to do. And two, you, like you said, haven't met us in person except for Erica. And here you are showing crazy vulnerability. And I just think that your story can resonate with so many other people. And I think that's just the people that we attract in our community. It's the fact that like a lot of our stories together, there's like little pieces where we can be like, yeah, I sit with Jess, and like, yeah, I totally understand Erica's story because of X, Y, and Z. And, you know, Brianna's a mom and she resonates with Megan. And there's a lot of different things that we can take from each other. And I think that's what makes this whole community so great and amazing. And I can't wait to see what coaching does for you and what it does for me and what it does for Brianna. And Erica and Megan, obviously, but they're really great coaches. They've been doing this for a little bit, and they're a little bit more seasoned than us. But I'm really excited to just kind of lean into this, knowing that there are people that are starting out a little bit with me. And I just can't wait to just really fully dive in with you guys and take this, you know, this community to the next level, because coaching has also changed my life in a lot of ways too, which we can talk about that at a different time. But I just wanted to say thank you so much, because it's not easy to do and you really blew it out of the water.
Thank you. That means so much. Yes, it is incredible. Also, just like how accepted everyone, like, I hope, because I know I do, like in this group that I feel. And I've told Erica that like several times, just like, thank you for allowing me to be a part of this group. And I know that I have changed so much, even being a part of this group specifically, because of everyone else who's in the group as well, which is incredible to say.
I don't have a question either, but I think the thing, because you started with Liv before I started back with Liv. And I think just one of the biggest things that has always struck me is you are always there, like even in the hard moments. And I think hearing your story is incredibly special for like newer coaches, for more seasoned coaches. And I want to make a comment about that in a second, because I like that, like clicked my brain into something. But it's like, we have so many different seasons as coaches, and we have seasons as people. And I think that's the thing, is like, because like I remember riding that coaster with you, like being like on with Liv, and we're doing those calls and we're like, okay, like we're gonna do all the things, and watching corporate be like, okay, like invites, direct invites, we do this, we do that, and really going through that process of like, to remember having conversations with you years ago and being like, that doesn't resonate with me, and feeling like, oh, like we don't want to be that icky person, or like, and it's this process of figuring out. I think there's so much othering that people experience in their life. I feel other than, I don't feel part of the group. And then having the courage to truly be yourself and be like, okay, like I'm going to be me, even if it's like dipping your toe in. Like I was talking, Kristen, who's in the group, she's like, Erica, it's almost like I dip my toe in, then I have to run and I have to go get my blanket. And I dip my toe in, I have to go get my sunscreen. And then like, but then I really need my goggles. So I don't want to dip in too far because I'm going to have to go get my goggles. And because we're so scared that if we jump in, people aren't going to want to swim with us. But when we're dipping our toe in, we also know that we haven't shown who we are. So we're like, well, they don't actually know who I am. So if they knew who I was, they wouldn't accept me. And like, you have gone through that process of being like, okay, this is me and I'm here. And that, like, nobody does that work for you. You've done that work. And I think like being Shanice, hearing you saying like more seasoned coaches, like, yes, I've been a coach longer and Jess has been a coach longer and Megan's been a coach longer than you have. But I think the biggest difference, like, it's not how much information we have, it's how, I think the more seasoned coaches, like even Ashley, like she started watching some of her old trainings, like she started somewhere where she was trying to be somewhere else. And I think the biggest transition is the longer you show up as you, the more you find out that people aren't going to like that and it doesn't shatter your world. And people are going to like it and you're going to be like, people actually accept me for who I am. And the only difference is knowing, being more comfortable every day with knowing that you're not going to know everything, and that's okay. It's the comfort with not knowing that I think is one of the biggest differences.
Yeah,
And just
that is,
thank you. I mean, thank you for
thank
sharing.
you. Yeah, and hearing you say that like through everything, like I've been with the group,
Yeah.
made me realize that like this is the one thing is that has been constant since I started doing these programs in end of 2018. Like because I then graduated college, I moved back in with my parents. Brandon and I were long distance. Okay, but we broke up a couple times, but now we're back, like we're here. I moved in with him. Like I got a new job. Like
You asked for a raise.
yeah, like I was able to in my old job be like, wait, no, I'm being undervalued
Mm-hmm.
to have some changes here. But through all of those changes, this group has been like the one constant. Having these programs and like accountability and support has been the one constant in my life since I've started these 2 odd years ago, which is just, I think speaks volumes for how having a community can really impact your, I don't want to say success because success, I don't know, has weird connotations, but your outcome, your life in so many different ways, which I think is incredible. It's so weird to think, but this is one of like the biggest turning points in my life where I stopped taking crap from other people and like really owned my worth. And I owe the majority of that to everyone that I then started to surround myself with, which is incredible to think because, yeah, Erica, you know, you helped me get a raise, which I was so scared to ask for. But I was like, Erica, I need help. I was like, you're the only person I know that can help me with this. I need some help. And we did it, but I would have been so scared to do it otherwise. Oh, it's just so crazy to think. And yes, you do know how to write very pretty words. You have a way with words that is just above and beyond everything. But I am so glad that I was able to share my story. And I know that not everything will resonate with everyone, but I hope that you are able to connect with little bits and pieces and that you're able to see that, okay, yeah, you might not see massive growth in the ways that you are expecting to see them right away, but that doesn't mean that one, they're not coming, and two, you're not growing and changing, because I've grown and changed, like I've mentioned, in so many ways that I didn't think were possible and that I didn't know were going to happen as a result for everything that I was doing. So it has been an incredible time to share all of this with you guys. Yes, we will miss our
I'm just
growth
saying
over
thank
time.
you. for the call because
Thank you.
I'm glad I can pick it on. Okay, I'm muting myself again. It's loud in this car. Oh, one question though. Are we staying on after all of this? Or I guess we can. Tell me when we're done recording, and then I'll ask the question.
Okay.
Sorry.
So I know, does anybody else have any more questions for Jess?
Yes.
Bree, did you have any? Okay.
Yeah.
I wanted to check this. So this week, and the post is going to go up in the group today. This week is actually Spirit Week. So it is Spirit Week. And so look for that post. I have no idea what Spirit Week is this week. I think I remember it being something simple because I remember when I posted it the first time, I was like, oh, okay, we're rolling into February and there'll be some exciting things in February for the coaches. We have Team Cup. And so we will have a speaker. Megan will speak next week about letting go of the fear of judgment and like in a coaching journey, but also in, I think Megan also like personal journey wise and coaching journey. Is that yes or no? You can just nod. Oh, she's frozen.
Yeah.
Okay. So next week we'll reconvene at the same time. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend. I'm going to stop recording, but you guys can stay on the call. Let me just find the right button before I like do something like and delete it, because that's a thing I would do.